This is the Davidson County Network.
Hi, I'm Jamal Taher Kelly.
And I'm Avery Matthews.
And this is the Davidson County Network.
Today, we're talking on the phone with Lexington native and owner of the world-famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas, Nevada, Mr. Rick Harrison.
We're going to learn about Rick's life, his career, some of his passions, and maybe get a preview of the upcoming season premiere of Pawn Stars. So as always, sit back, relax, have a nice cup of coffee, or a cold one, and enjoy the interview.
This is the Davidson County Network, and we're talking on the phone today with Lexington native Mr. Rick Harrison, owner of world-famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, and also known for his reality TV show, Pawn Stars. Rick, thanks for taking the time out to do this call with us today.
No problem.
So you're most famously known for your pawn shop business featured on the show, but we understand that you have several other business ventures. Could you talk to us about those?
Yeah, I have a lot of different business interests. I publish art. I publish limited edition fine art. I have a barbecue restaurant. I have a bar. I have a shopping center. I have I have a lot of other little businesses I'm invested in. I'm on the board of directors of the Epilepsy Foundation. Do a lot of with charities, and I got 6 kids, so I have a pretty full life.
You stay busy.
Hey, this is Jamal. So your story is truly inspirational. Having never been to college, you have managed to become a very successful businessman and entrepreneur. What advice would you give to an entrepreneur from a small town preparing to enter the business world?
It's going to be a lot of work. It's not, a lot of people say you own your own business, you can take it all the time off you want. Literally, you can take like no time off when you first start. You really you just have to work at it really, really hard and look at it smart and, nose to the grindstone. Don't do anything stupid.
I hear you. So viewers of the show know that you are very knowledgeable in a number of areas. You've always been an avid reader with a devout love for literature. Tell us how your love for literature began.
Well, I was a really sick kid. I had epilepsy when I was a kid. I'd have violent seizures, and it would make it, so sometimes I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. It would be just the muscles would be torn so bad in my back and my legs. So, my dad was in like Vietnam, and my mom would go to the library and give me books, and, because we're talking the early 70s, there's nothing on TV for a kid, and I definitely don't have one in my bedroom. So, I just, fell in love with reading books when I was 8 years old and never stopped.
Could you tell us about one of those books that you first started out reading?
I mean, some of the very first books I really fell in love with was about a kid called it was a series of books called The Great Brain. It took place in the 1890s in Utah about this, one kid at 8 years old declares to the world he basically has a great brain and comes up with all these little schemes to make money. And, a lot of them go awry, and he makes money on some, but there was always a moral ending at the end, and I absolutely fell in love with them. I read the entire series of books in like a couple weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then after that, I just read every night. I didn't like television that much.
So I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but what is your favorite item that you have in the pawn shop?
There's so many different things. I have maps of the island of California from the 1600s. I have in my house I have a 12th century stained glass window. I have there's a million and one things. I fall in love with stuff every day. So
I hear you. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen come through the pawn shop?
Oh, the weirdest thing. Besides Chumley, that would be. I actually had a guy come in with like a bag full of human skulls once.
Wow.
It turns out he bought them at an auction. It was a dental school now uses plastic skulls, and they got rid of a bunch of their old equipment, and part of it was some human skulls. And I looked at the guy going like, if I buy these off you, I fill out this, this little form like here, and I got to download all my buys to the FBI and the local police department. I don't care if you got all the receipts in the world. It's not going to be worth the nightmare when all of those cops come in here wanting to see what the hell's going on. So I didn't take them.
Definitely.
So we know that your family moved to San Diego when you were 2 years old. Did your father ever tell you any stories about growing up in Lexington while you were here?
Well, no. I mean, he got transferred. The Navy transferred him to San Diego. That's why we moved there. No, I love that. I love Lexington. I used to visit my parents all the time there. My grandparents there when I was a kid. We go out to, my grandpa had a lake house, and no, he had great stories. Talked about how he was a bus driver for the high school when he was 14.
Wow. So here in Lexington, you know that we're world famous for our barbecue. Our viewers here in Davidson County would be disappointed if I didn't ask you if you've experienced Lexington barbecue.
My parents used to actually have Old Hickory barbecue mailed to San Diego. Yeah, so I have my own barbecue restaurant, so it sort of flows in barbecue sauce is in my veins.
Wow. So we understand that there's an upcoming Pawn Stars episode featuring some Game of Thrones memorabilia. Anything that you can tell us about this episode?
I really can't. I'm really not allowed to talk about it. All I can tell you is winter is coming. I got some really cool Game of Thrones stuff that's going to be on the show on May 20th.
Wow. Do you watch are you watching the current season of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. Who's not? So,
that's right.
yeah, it's a pretty incredible show. I can't imagine how much they spend on shooting this thing. It's got to be a fortune. But the storyline's amazing and everything else like that. The reason why the storyline's so great, because you never know who's going to die.
That's right. So I got to know, how do you see it all ending?
I see it different than most. I think Cersei's going to win the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
I think in the end, she's going to be sitting up there in her castle, smiling at all the other dead people.
Oh, wow.
There's also an upcoming episode featuring a very special basketball.
Okay, because remember, when you read books, the happy ending isn't always the best ending. And by the way, if she's sitting in the castle at the end and has won everything, it makes a great reason to have another season, doesn't it? Or a movie down the road.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. There's also an upcoming episode featuring a very special basketball player. Can you tell us anything about that one?
The best basketball player ever, and he wore goggles. That's all I can tell you. I guess you can figure that one out. No, that was a really great episode too. The network is really, really weird about like what I could say about what's going to show up on an episode. I don't know if they've released any of it yet, but it's a really, really cool episode. I actually traveled 2,500 miles to meet him and buy some stuff off him.
Awesome. So you currently serve as the national spokesperson for the Epilepsy Foundation. Tell us a little bit about your work with the foundation.
Well, I there's a lot of things. I try and raise money for them. I try to get awareness for them. Epilepsy affects 3.4 million people in the United States, and it's just a lot of people don't know a lot about it. I mean, more people have epilepsy than have autism, but you never really hear that. So I'm trying to raise a lot of awareness, raise money for them, help kids. I mean, the Epilepsy Foundation does a lot of things. We help fund research and a lot of other things, and just near and dear to my heart.
Definitely. So one more question for you. Being a Lexington native, what would it take to get you here on October 26th for the barbecue festival? Asking for Mayor Clark.
One of these years I will get out there. Unfortunately, you guys, that barbecue festival is in the middle of filming, when I film. So one of these days when I'm not filming, I'll get out there, I promise. I still got some family out there.
Well, Rick, we know you're a very busy man, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this for our viewers.
No problem, man. Call me again in another 6 months. I'll do it again. Okay?
Sounds good. So tell our viewers again when they can tune in and see that Game of Thrones episode.
May 20th, the day after the season finale of Game of Thrones. Okay?
And that's 10 o'clock Eastern time, right?
10 o'clock Eastern time. Yep.
Sounds good. Well, everyone watching at home, be sure to tune in on Monday, May 20th at 10 o'clock for the brand new episode of Pawn Stars. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.